So obviously the biggest challenge is you have 3 different unique communities. We had to strategize an awful lot about how are we going to make people feel comfortable? What makes the most sense structurally? What makes the most sense educationally? And from that, we ended up with the model where we have 2 floors of middle school students on one side of the building and high school on the other, and you have all the other space is kind of used by both.
Dora and Whittier facilitated a variety of these kind of workshops, right? And some of them were large group, like our entire cafeteria full of community members, teachers, students, trying to identify what were some guiding principles, like big picture, high level stuff, like flexibility of all learning environments, right? Separation of middle and high school. So you take some of those things, and when you walk around the school today, you can see like those things. Those were part of the guiding principles, and you can see them in action every day. And then teacher workshops and things like that, like talking about like what kind of a learning environment they would like, what would support the learning that they're trying to accomplish in the classroom. And students gave us great feedback on furniture. They gave us great feedback on lockers, what that arrangement would look like, the dining, and just what a learning environment would look like.
My name's Julie Terisi, a parent of 3 kids in the district, and we met as a group of parents, probably 5 or 10 parents trying to figure out how to best start the process and really just get the word out. It was extremely important that the parents and the community were involved in the design process, meeting with people and actually look at the different things that have been offered or changes. And I think that was huge. We had kids in the district. We knew our own kids. We sort of knew what they might like, what they didn't like. We knew what students needed in general. So I think being part of the design process was key in really getting that community engagement.
I teach a lot of the healthcare related classes here, so I'm kind of geared towards students wanting to get into the medical field and health sciences in general and expose them to that early on. Working with Dora and Whittier I found was very collaborative. I double as both a coach and a teacher, so we were involved with some of the design schemes for some of the fields and setting the fields up. And then obviously what are some things that you would want in an athletic training room or in a weight room? And being involved with that, was much appreciated. To give students the ability to learn in a variety of different ways and having the ability to use their hands or tactile senses to apply the material, it naturally is going to make them more excited. But you have a variety of different learners that they're more into the book and into the lecture part, but I have seen more students gravitate towards this class, we're not just sitting for the whole time, you can move around and we're going to the turf room, we're going to the weight room, we're going out in the fields. I'm like, I can get some fresh air. My teacher's telling me to wear comfortable clothing because we're gonna go do a workout. There is definitely a renewed excitement, for sure.
I think the capacity of the auditorium itself hasn't changed significantly, but adding in the additional space of the black box allows for much, much more flexibility. We can have smaller, more intimate shows in the black box and larger productions, big musicals in the auditorium. It's a much more comfortable space, for sure. It's much more versatile with the way that the technology has been integrated into both spaces.
And the use of the balcony too for the audience in the auditorium is wonderful because the audience gets a better view of the shows, especially the big musicals, and you can see the entire stage instead of just looking at it head on. So our fall play that happened this November, was Clue, based off the board game, and it's a murder mystery. And we had audience on all 4 sides, and the acting was all happening in the center of the stage.
It's complicated to try to perform a show in the round, largely because if you have set pieces, people can't see through them. So we decided to bring a projector in and project the set onto the floor. So it moved, it was animated, it went all over the place. The versatility of the space allowed us to do that.
Yeah, and it was very successful.
Yeah.
The old school had a cafeteria. It was one room just for eating. Now at the new school, there's several dining cafeterias or spaces used for several things. I've used, and my friends have used these spaces for studying, preparing for a test. I've retaken tests in those spaces. I've filmed in these spaces. That versatility is very useful as a student because now it's used for practically anything you can think of. The old school didn't have locations like this. Now a space like this is necessary.
A school is a representation of what your community values. And I think our entire community, when they walk through and they see it, they can't, like, I can't believe it still. But yeah, like, it's clear that our community had a vested interest in this facility. They had a vested interest in collaborating with us, and Doreen Whittier was exceptionally good at listening to what we were trying to accomplish. So when all those visiting teams and communities come in and they say that, like, yeah, like, this is what Pentucket's all about.